So Sidney Powell is still saying that she's going to quote unquote release the Kraken, this time on steroids, even though it seems like she's been thrown under the bus by the rest of Trump's legal team, Jenna, Ellis, and Rudy Giuliani in particular. So what happened just a couple hours ago, maybe even a little bit less than that, was that Jenna, Ellis, and Rudy Giuliani put out an official Trump-Pence, letterhead statement basically saying that, Sidney Powell apparently has nothing to do with the Trump legal effort. They say, Sidney Powell is practicing law on her own. She is not a member of the Trump legal team. She is also not a lawyer for the president in his personal capacity. And it's signed by, Ellis and Giuliani. But the thing with that is that even if she isn't a personal lawyer to Trump, she's very clearly been a part of this team. You saw her at that crazy Rudy Giuliani press conference just before the weekend where he was sweating off his hair dye. She was there and she spoke there. Here's a picture of it. Also, the official Republican account tweeted her a statement or a portion of her statement at that event. We covered some of it on the channel. She is very clearly part of the team. And here you have Donald Trump just over a week ago basically saying, look, I got this great legal team. Here's just a few of the names. And he puts in that tweet the name of Ellis and Giuliani and Sidney Powell, among others, saying that this is my legal team. And I'm sure that, maybe that's not the full extent of it, but whether it was from Trump or the GOP or just from where she's been associating with Giuliani and Ellis, she's been part of this team. So it's very interesting that not only are they trying to get rid of her, but they're trying to pretend that she wasn't part of the effort all along. And we know this is likely because, she went after Brian Kemp, who is a Republican governor and a fairly, close one to Trump. He's not seen as an anti-Trump Republican. And so maybe they realized that she's gone a little bit too far and they want to distance themselves from her. But what's really interesting is Powell's statement on her own. And I want to read that out to you. And she put this out just a few minutes ago, sort of after this story broke. And she said, quote, I understand today's press release. I will continue to represent we the people who had their votes for Trump and other Republicans stolen by massive voter fraud through Dominion Smartmatic. And we will be filing suit soon. The chips will fall where they may. And we will defend the foundations of this great republic. Hashtag Kraken on steroids. And what she's referring to there is her, release the Kraken statement that she made, nearly a couple weeks ago now with in a Lou Dobbs interview on Fox Business, the Fox News umbrella, basically saying we have so much evidence. It's huge evidence. Just wait for it. I'm going to release the Kraken and it's going to bust this case wide open in all of the swing states. And you're not even going to see it coming, but it's going to be epic. As she noted just last night, before all of this firing went down, throwing under the bus went down, she said it was going to be biblical. It's going to be a monumental situation of biblical proportions. And she's trying to still lean into that. But again, this is just so interesting to me because it shows that not only is there a civil war within the conservative movement right now, it seems like there's one even within the Trump legal team, within the Trump legal umbrella. We already talked about how, Sidney Powell fighting with Tucker Carlson was part of this, how she was scheduled to be on Fox last night and then didn't go, whether she was uninvited or didn't show up. She chose instead to do an interview with Newsmax, an even more conservative, more, sycophantly pro-Trump source than Fox News. So she sort of snubbed Judge Jeanine for Newsmax. And so, right off the bat there was a sense that some elements of Fox News were saying that, we'll cover, cases of impropriety if you bring them to us, but we're not just going to let you spout absolute fantasy, at least not anymore. And then now today, you have maybe the Giuliani Ellis camp that are fine with some conspiracy theories, but not fine with dragging, Republican governors into it. So is Sidney Powell going to still effectively be working with the Trump team, but only informally behind the scenes? Is Trump going to continue working with her openly but fully separate from his formal legal team? Is she going rogue and launching her own suits on behalf of other Republicans that are trying to overturn results that actually go against what Giuliani and Ellis are trying to do? I don't know. The whole point here, though, is that we're lucky that, one, the election wasn't all that close, and we're lucky that, two, this is the dumbest coup attempt I've ever seen. That, my goodness, if the election was closer and Trump had competent lawyers by his side, I'd worry about the result. But as long as this keeps happening and they can't even stop the infighting within their own legal team, I think the Republic is safe for now. But keep this in mind, because the next time around, if the lawyers aren't talking about biblical Krakens, it might go really bad if the Democrats aren't ready to fight them. They weren't ready this time, but frankly, they didn't seem to need to be.